Hi, welcome to AFTV. I've got Dylan with me. We've just lost 1-0 to Everton at Goodison Park. Dylan, let's get straight into this. You want to be real with me, I know you will. I spoke to you many times. What was the reason for today's loss? Because there's been manager bounce mentioned, the fans, Everton was being good. What was it for you today?
It was a load of rubbish from the start to the finish. There was obviously going to be a manager bounce for Everton. I saw that coming. But at the end of the day, Everton have been on the floor this season. They've been rubbish. They're 19th place for a reason. I don't know how they're 19th place, to be honest, because of the players they do have. But clearly, they just haven't been putting in the work. But obviously, when Arsenal go to play teams, teams are always going to turn up, especially when we are the team at the top of the league. And today, simply the players didn't turn up. We can go through the whole team. I mean, other than Ramsey couldn't have done much about the goal, and other than that, he didn't really have a save to make. But Ben White, we'll start with. Dreadful. You've had a howler like Ben White, and that's 2 games in a row now because he didn't start against Man City. So Man United again, he had to be hooked at half time. I don't know what's going on with him.
Should he have been taken off earlier today?
I mean, you bring on Tomiyasu and it's not exactly game changing because again, it's 2 right backs who are defensive minded. They don't really overlap. They're both right backs who have played centre back predominantly in their career up until this season. Obviously, Tomiyasu last season came in as a right back, but until then he was a centre back wherever he came from. But Ben White, dreadful. I don't know about taking him off. I don't see what the point would have been in taking him off. Cool. If he had a yellow, I would have taken him off. The centre backs are. I mean, we were losing the ball so many times under no pressure. We found ourselves losing the ball so often. Zinchenko today, he wasn't the worst player on the pitch. Yeah. He wasn't the best.
He wasn't. I don't think
it was
that bad.
Average performance. But one thing I really want to understand, and I really want to understand how Mikel Arteta, what is wrong with Kieran Tierney? I don't understand in a game like today, where it's a physical battle. The game's against us. It's clearly not going our way. We're not dominating possession like we do normally in a home game or the usual away day. Today wasn't our day from start to finish. It just wasn't our day. And for some reason, we didn't change it. We had Kieran Tierney sitting there on the bench. He can overlap. He's fast. He's always up for a fight. He has got a goal in him, and he can whip a good cross in. I don't understand why we're not using Kieran Tierney enough this season. I just don't understand.
I think Mikel Arteta's. I don't know. It feels like he was avoiding this physicality talk because I was right when we saw Fabio Vieira come on, less physical. We saw Thomas Partey come off, physicality. You're right. Zinchenko's less physical to Kieran Tierney, but it seems like he just ignored that today when it comes to the physicality side.
Well, we lowered ourselves to their game. We quickly saw how they were going to play. They were launching. There was a lot of the ball in the air, and then we found ourselves a lot of time with no options on the ball, chesting it and just hoofing it up into the sky, and the ball was up in the air. And they're going to win it every time because they're bigger, they're stronger, and they want it more because they're at home. They've been crap all season. Yeah. They've got a new manager, and all these players have got a point to prove at Everton. And a lot of these players at Arsenal have got a point to prove too. We need to win a league this season. We have really got a serious chance of winning the Premier League this season. And a game like today, we'll look back and it'll be a wasted chance. Yes, we're going to lose games. We're not going to go invincible. We've already lost to Man United. We're not going to win every single game other than that. I understand that losses are going to come. But a game like today, we're going to look back. So last season, we can look back. We finished 2 points off the top 4. Yeah. We can look back at Brighton. We can look back at Palace. We can look back at all those Southampton, all these games. But now we're going to look back at Everton away if we lose. A team that was in 19th place, fighting for their lives. Again, so we move to the midfield. So he brings off Partey. He brings off Thomas Partey. Okay, he brings off Thomas Partey. Jorginho, I saw that coming. He was going to come on. He needs his debut at some point. I imagine he wanted to give him the chance to change the game, but he did nothing. I'm not going to say he was bad, but he didn't bring anything to the game, and I didn't expect him to bring anything to that game. I don't know what he was thinking bringing on Jorginho in a game like that. It was a real physical battle in the middle of the midfield. We were doing all right. We were coping. Granit Xhaka and Partey are 2 great players on the ball, and they're very strong. And you bring on a player like Jorginho, who's, I mean,
could it be to rest Partey though? Because we know he's injured. Even though he's had to come off at City, and he might be looking to rest him. And we weren't losing at that stage.
We weren't losing at that stage, but we needed a goal. And Jorginho, he just didn't really progress the ball very well. He had a few decent little touches in the middle of the park. He was knocking off the ball backwards and sideways every now and then. I mean, I've seen that before. But other than that, he just wasn't really offering much. Another weird one, I actually thought Odegaard was playing pretty well today. He was getting the ball. Now, when you're playing in the 10, your game's reliant on your wingers. Your job is to feed the ball to the wingers, feed the ball through to Eddie. The forward line, other than Saka had bright sparks today, but other than that, Martinelli was dreadful. I'll get on to Trossard when he came on. Eddie Nketiah had a great chance in the first half. He puts it wide. Okay, unfortunate. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, okay, he's not going to score every chance. You know, he's not our main striker. He's been great in the last week, so I'm not going to complain. Like, I'm not going to just get on him for that. But Saka today, he was getting the ball. He was trying things. But like I said with Odegaard, a winger's job is, I mean, a number 10's job is to get the ball to these players, and they do their bit. But they were doing nothing. Like, he was getting the ball to them. He was getting the ball. His touches were sharp. He was progressing the ball forward a lot, and they weren't giving him anything. Is
that credit to Everton then in their defending?
No, because Everton's they're not even good. We had Mikalenko, the left back. He was on strings. Coleman slow. Like, Martinelli realistically should be having the beating of him. You know, I would have thought Martinelli would have all the confidence in the world coming into this game. Arteta's backed him. You know, we've just brought in Trossard for nearly 30 million. Arteta's still backing Martinelli. He got his new contract yesterday. I would have thought he would come into this game with a load of confidence, and that's the worst performance I've seen from Martinelli all season. Eddie Nketiah, he didn't bring any chances to Eddie. Eddie had literally the chance we spun them in the first half. Second half, he was given nothing. He was literally given nothing by the midfielders.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.